Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else, this is John Perivale with Access Arts Live, bringing you the latest information about this week's live streams of chamber music and contemporary compositions. I'm trying to get this. For some reason, the last few days, I keep getting this reflection in my glasses, which does not help us. Anyway, we have 4 or 5 additional live streams to tell you about this week involving chamber music and or contemporary compositions, in addition to some of the other chamber music that's going on at the Chopin Institute's Chopin and His Europe festival, which has a number of live streams that we already told you about yesterday, which you could consider to be chamber music live streams. But anyway, let's get started with this week's chamber music live streams. We're not back in the full flower of the regular season beginning in September, so there is not that much going on. But there is a piano festival going on in San Francisco, which we'll be telling you about 2 concerts that they're doing. Composers Concordance, Gene Pritzker and his merry band of music makers is back. The St. Mary's Perivale regular series of live stream piano recitals and such is also back this week starting on Sunday. So there are a number of things to tell you about. Let me get to them. Before I do, let me remind you, if you're watching this video on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching on any of our other platforms, please follow and or subscribe to us on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, and Rumble now. I believe we are live streaming on Rumble. So, having said that, let us then get down to the first of this week's, which you could call live streams of chamber music. I'm not even sure of this one, but I did want to tell you about it because it's musicians with classical roots of a sort. And that's Maeve and Quinn, a twin sister duo. Wednesday, August 27th, Constellation, Chicago, live streams a concert by Park Hill Circle and NIIKA. Park Hill Circle being the atmospheric indie project of Maris Maeve O'Tierney, a singer, composer, and multi-instrumentalist in Chicago. That'll be at their usual 8:30 in the evening Chicago time, 9:30 on the East Coast, middle of the night in Europe, and 11:30 in the morning down under in Australia, Thursday morning. This will be an ensemble with acoustic guitar, electric guitar, synthesizers, keyboards, a bass, and percussion. So it's a little bit like a band more than classical music. But we're told that Maris O'Tierney has real foundations in opera and classical guitar, and that they influence the work that she does. And she has done a lot of work with her violinist twin sister, Quinn. And that's why I showed you the picture of the 2 of them, because those were the best picture I had. And they combine songs, poetry, instrumental music, and storytelling. They've done this with the Poetry Foundation, with Steppenwolf Theater, with the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. So they've been around, and they've done orchestral compositions for the Chicago Composers Orchestra and the Anchorage, Alaska Symphony Orchestra. So they have an album out called Another Door, came out in 2023, got good reviews. So you might want to check it out in a week when you don't have a lot but you might know. Listen, these are interesting performers. And Constellation Chicago does brilliant work with bringing you interesting performers on that vibrant Chicago music scene. Anyway, and then also performing with them will be NIIKA, which is, that's more of like a jazz soul group headed up by an Uzbekistani Chicago musician named NIIKA Nemirovsky. Then let's move on to tell you about these 2 live streams coming from the San Francisco International Music Festival, which I just discovered the other day. I'm so happy to have discovered it. And there is the first of them will be a pianist who has established a real profile online. Friday, August 29th at 8 p.m. Pacific time, the San Francisco International Piano Festival welcomes back Asiya Korepanova, playing what she calls the world of Ravel. And that's at, like I said, 8 o'clock Pacific time, 11 o'clock on the East Coast, 5 in the morning here in Europe, but a lovely 1 in the afternoon down under in Australia, your Saturday afternoon. Why would you miss it? We'll give you a link to the, this is a broadcast on the Old First Concerts YouTube channel. And it looks like they'll be doing other interesting things besides this piano festival. So we will keep you up to date on that. And that I'm glad to have discovered it. Tell you a little bit about Asiya. She was born and raised in Russia and studied under Albert Lehman, who was a disciple, or she calls him a disciple of Shostakovich. So that's where she claims her artistic roots are. But in 2012, she came to the U.S. to take a doctoral degree at the University of Miami, and then added in 2017 an artist diploma degree from Miami as well. She's performed at Carnegie Hall for the Phillips Collection, which, if you follow Access Arts Live, you've heard of them. They do a fair amount of live streaming, most of which is very expensive. You have to be like a $500 donor to attend, but they do an occasional free one for the plebeians among us. She's also appeared at the Newport Classical Festival, the Miami International Piano Festival, of course, and she's been featured on CNN, on NPR stations, and elsewhere. She also does piano transcriptions of things like Strauss's Ein Heldenleben. I love pronouncing German. If you follow Access Arts Live, you know that by now. She's also composed a concerto for alto saxophone and piano, a piano quintet, which was commissioned by the Third Dimension Music Festival, Con Brio for 2 pianos. So she's, she's a pianist, she's a composer, she's has a very interesting background. What's she going to be playing? All right, let me tell you that, and then move on. Debussy's Suite Bergamesque, because this is the world of Ravel. This is Ravel and people around him. Then next, Farronk's Valse Brillante, Opus 51. Hey, Farronk was this woman pianist from the mid 19th century until early 20th century, who was the first woman to actually teach at the Paris Conservatory. So she's there around the time of people like Mel Bonis, who was the French composer and pianist who was not so fortunate as to get to teach at the French Conservatory, at least not at that point. Then César Franc's Prelude, Chorale, and Fugue, Pavane by Ravel, Poulenc's Nocturne in C, Ravel's Jeu d'eau, that beautiful piece that was played by that pianist during the Olympic Games celebration. He's at the piano on a bridge over the Seine. There's water flowing under him. The rain is coming down, and he's playing Jeu d'eau, the play of waters or water fountains by Ravel. Then a piece by another woman composer, Cécile Chaminade, and Ravel's Gaspard de la Nuit. Sounds like a highly interesting conversation. I think we're giving you the link to her website. She's a really interesting, we're giving you a link to an interview that she gave, where you can find out all about her as a person, if you're interested. Then we move on to another concert on that Old First Concerts label, which will be on Saturday, and it's also it's the San Francisco Piano Festival, so it's also going to be piano. It's going to be 2 people on the piano. So let me get both of their pictures up for you. There you go. Saturday, August 30th, the San Francisco International Piano Festival live streams a concert called Ravel and Le Jazz by pianist Stephen Prutzman and Jeffrey Ledoux. That'll be at, again, their standard time is 8 in the evening in San Francisco, which is 11 o'clock at night on the East Coast, 5 in the morning in Europe, and 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday afternoon. Perfect time to watch it. You know, there's a famous quotation from Maurice Ravel, which personally I don't agree with, but he said, quote, "You Americans take jazz too lightly. In my opinion, it's bound to lead to the national music of the United States." Well, tell that to Aaron Copland, if you will, or Leonard Bernstein. I don't think either of them write anything that's like jazz. Gershwin did. But anyway, what are they going to be playing? Do we have a list of the music they're playing? No, we don't. But I can tell you who they are. Stephen, oh yeah, we do. They'll be, here's what they're going to play. Ravel's Prelude in A minor from the Valse Noble et Sentimentale. Then they'll be playing original jazz compositions by Bill Evans and Stephen Prutzman. Then they'll play Ravel's Une barque sur l'océan, a raft on the ocean, and Alborada del Gracioso, and I don't speak Italian or Spanish, so I'm not sure what that means. And they'll finish up with Stephen Prutzman playing his original score to the silent film 1 Week, featuring Buster Keaton, the comedian from 1920. So that'll be interesting. I assume they'll have that on screen in the video, in the live stream video. So that's, lovely. The Maurice Ravel Prelude, the Valse Noble et Sentimentale, Barque sur l'Océan, Alborada del Gracioso. So that sounds interesting. Stephen Prutzman, he was born in LA, lives in San Francisco apparently. In the early 90s, he won medals both at the Tchaikovsky and the Queen Elizabeth piano competitions over here in Europe. Then in the 2000s, he partnered up with the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra, where he was composing new works for orchestra and conducting contemporary pieces. He was then for a while the artistic director of the Cartagena International Festival of Music in South America. He's composed for the Kronos Quartet, but for also the St. Lawrence String Quartet, for Yo-Yo Ma, for this for Dawn Upshaw, and his song cycle, composed in 2000, his song cycle Piano Lessons was premiered in 2010 by Dawn Upshaw and Emmanuel Axe at Carnegie Hall in New York, at the Concertgebouw in Amsterdam, at Disney Hall in LA, and at the Barbican Center in London. So he's hot stuff. Jeffrey Ledoux, who's also involved, but they don't tell us exactly who's playing what. He's the founder and director of the San Francisco Piano Festival, graduate of both Eastman School of Music and San Francisco Conservatory of Music in piano performance and chamber music, respectively. So, these are two expert guys. I'm happy to have found this San Francisco International Piano Festival, and Saturday, if you want to explore Ravel and what Ravel would call le jazz, which Ravel would have recommended you do, this is for you. Now we move on. Also on Saturday night to what is certain to be a fun evening, which will be coming out of New York rather than Chicago or San Francisco. And let me put up the images of the people who are going to be doing it. They're very interesting people. Jay Jeffries and Machiko Ozawa. tap dancing violinist. Okay. She makes just seeing her, she makes an impression. I'll tell you about this. Saturday, August 30th, Gene Pritzker and Composers Concordance LIVEstreams another installment of PRISM, a series of contemporary compositions in concert, this time with pianist Jay Jeffries and the tap dancing violinist Machiko Ozawa. That'll be on the Facebook live stream page of Composers Concordance. We'll give you the link. It's at 7 p.m. on the East Coast, 4 o'clock on the West Coast, 1 in the morning here in Europe, and 9 o'clock on Sunday morning down under in Australia. But sometimes this contemporary stuff is strong brew. I'm not sure if people are ready for it at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, personally. But hey, you never know. Jay Jeffries, the pianist, has been called one of those pianists who is constitutionally incapable of unmusical playing. So how about that? He has in the past been a music director and orchestral keyboardist for musical theater productions, and in Berlin, in Paris, and Tokyo. He's worked with a lot of Broadway touring companies. Got educated at schools in Arizona and Texas. Machiko Ozawa is a violinist, tap dancer, and composer. I wasn't just joking about that. She has incorporated tap dancing as a percussive element in playing music, and has her own style called tap violin, which involves playing the violin and tap dancing together. Morton Gould composed a tap concerto, which she has played. And she's a lover of the tango, and has an album out with music by Piazzolla and other Argentine tangos. At one point in time, she was concertmaster of the Symphonic Orchestra of Sinaloa, which is a province in Mexico, which includes Mazatlan. She did that for 2 years, and while she was the concertmaster, it won an award as the best orchestra in Mexico. Anyway, some of the pieces they will be doing will include compositions which they themselves composed, both Machiko and Jay Jeffries, but also the Prism Sonata by Gene Pritzker, the guitarist composer who is the head guy over there at Composers Concordance, who manages to bring in brilliant musicians from all over the world to do really wild contemporary stuff. This is now music. I don't even call it new, it's now. Prism Sonata by Gene is about re-examining and reimagining the sonata allegro form. So there you go, if you're musicologically inclined. They'll do Lee McClure's Duet for Violin and Duet for Violin and Piano. They'll do Graciela Carricchi's El toque de la mano de un hombre, the touch of the hand of a man, and Fragmented Dreams by Makiya Matsumura, because Machiko has worked fairly closely with Matsumura in the past. So that, look, if you want music which is now, Composers Concordance, that's what they give you. It's now. It's not then. It's not even new. It's like now. It's happening. Yeah. And they'll be doing a bunch of other composers. I could give you the list. You want the list? I'll give you the list. Okay. Where's that list? I can look it up. But I don't know if you will know all these people. And also, I've given you basically. They will do some pieces by Piazzolla, among others, and Brian Tidwell, in addition to the things I already know. So there you have it. Check it out. Be now. And we have one more live stream to tell you about. I'm so happy about it. St. Mary's Perivale is back after their summer break during the month of August. They only went away for a month. I'm going to try to get the main guy there, Sir Hugh, as we sometimes refer to him, to come and do a live stream interview with me, because they have such great programming. And I'd love to have them come on and talk about, you know, what they've been doing and what they're going to be doing later this year. And so then we come to the last of the live streams I want to tell you about. This one here will be with pianist Diana Cooper. Sunday, August 31st, the St. Mary's Perivale series of live stream high-quality recitals is back with the pianist Diana Cooper playing Chopin, Chopin, and Chopin. That'll be at their usual Sunday time, 4 in the afternoon, 10 in the morning in Europe, 10 in the morning on the East Coast, early 7 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, midnight down under in Australia. Diana Cooper will give you the link to her website. She'll be playing a Polonaise Fantasy, Opus 61 in A-flat major, Scherzo number 4 in E, Opus 54, the Berceuse, Opus 57, Sonata number 3 in B minor, Opus 58, and that's it. But that last sonata is a 26-minute piece. She's born in France. You know, she's Diana Cooper, but she's very French, and she studied at the French, born in Tarbes, France, studied at the Conservatory in Paris, studied at the Alfred Cortot École Normale, which I know of. It's over on, well, anyway. And then she studied at the Royal College of Music in London, so Paris and London. First prizes at a number of competitions at Brest, in Poznań in Poland, in Vigo, Spain. She's played at the Chopin House in Poland. She's been invited by the Chopin people to play there, so I guess they like what she did. She took part in a project with Gauthier Capuçon in France back in 2023 and 2024, a summer in France, in which they were doing open-air concerts across the country. And she recently recorded her first CD, which will be works by Haydn, Chopin, and Ravel. So I think that will be, if you're a Chopin lover, that's a lovely concert to add to the Chopin Institute's series of concerts going on this week, which we've already told you about. Folks, that's what we have for you this week. I hope that one, more, some, or any of these live streams inspired you, uplifted you, or will just show you a good time. So maybe the jazz one will. I don't know. I'm really intrigued by both of these San Francisco International Piano Festival live streams, because I don't know that festival, but they both look like very interesting people. But then, you know, how can you beat a tap dancing violinist? I mean, how can that not be fun? Just as long as you're not too strict in your thinking. Anyway, so if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching on any of our other platforms, please follow and or subscribe to us, so we can keep sending you more than 1,000 live links to live performances online. Those other platforms would be YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, and now Rumble. That's it for now. I may well be back on Friday to just do some updates. Look for our clips about individual performances, which we put up during the week to remind you of things that live streams you don't want to miss. Most of what's live streaming this week is all free of charge. It's just gold nuggets strewn across the internet landscape. So I will say ciao for now, and thank you